Walaikum Assalam.
Okay, today we have assignment class. The scenario is given. It says, in your role as change manager within the HR department of an organization, you have been asked by the managing director to prepare a draft report for him to consider. Ultimately, following modeling and consultation with senior colleagues, you will present the report to the board of directors in preparation of a business future restructure. Task is that the MD has given you clear instructions that he and fellow board members need to understand the evolution and changing perspective on organization and management theory. In the first part of report, you should explain the main theories of management and organizational behavior. Within this section of the report, you must also consider the historical development of organization theory in analyzing organization. The report should then apply organization theory to the analysis, design, and management of the organizations. The MD has stated that he wants this section to include relevant examples from actual organizations so that he and other board members can relate theory to the practice. This task one is related with lecture number one, in which we have read modern theory, behavioral theory, X and Y, Z theory, Frederick's theory. So this is what the task one is all about. Do you remember the lecture one?
Yes.
So this is the evolution of theory in which behavioral management is included, management theory is included, and then we will discuss the historical development of the organization. The historical development are Frederick's theory, X and Y, Z theory, and so task one is related with the lecture number one. So first of all, the first task contains two things. First of all, you will give the report. You have to type in the MS Word. First of all, the main theories of the management and organization behavior. We have already discussed it. Then you have to write the historical development of the organization theory. You have to give examples too, just like I did. I give you examples. I explain all the lecture in detail to you in detail with examples. I give you the example of management modern theory. I give the example of behavioral theory. I give you the example of Frederick's theory, X and Y, Z theory. So you have to explain it with the examples, with relevant examples. Then task two. In the second section of the report, you should have to explain the different types of organizational structure, the life cycle of organization. You must use diagrams and examples to illustrate your working in this section. We have discussed about the organizational structure in the life cycle of organizations in detail in previous lecture. I illustrated with examples. Whether you explain it with the help of structural diagram, you explain it with the help of pie charts, you explain it with the help of any structural diagram, you have to use the examples regarding to the structure. The examples should be relevant. I use example of insurance policies in explaining the organizational structure. You may use any example of any company, whether it is any multinational company, whether it is any private company, whether it is any FMCG industry. It's totally up to you. So the first organizational structure is hierarchical organizational structure. The hierarchical organizational structure tells us about the hierarchy of the organization. Like first of all, if we talk about the insurance companies, first of all board of directors, then managing director, then executive director, then CEO and other people come. Then functional organizational structure, horizontal organizational structure, divisional organizational structure, team based organizational structure. I use the different diagrams in it. I explain you with the help of diagrams. Like I use the diagram of hierarchy. I explain it with different examples to you. So you also quote examples in this task. It's totally up to you what kind of examples you are using for, whether you are using any example, it's totally up to you. In functional organizational structure, it basically starts with the positions of the highest level. What is the responsibility of the top management people, how the employees are organized, their skills, how they organize all the corresponding functions. Each separate department is operating independently. Finance department is operating independently, human resource department is operating independently. There are different job descriptions of every department. Human resource department job description is to hire the people for the company. Finance will provide finance to the organization, whether for purchasing the machinery, whether for purchasing any kind of stationery, whether for purchasing anything else. Whether the salary, when the salary day comes, accounts department or finance department will give them the finance to pay the salaries to the people who are working there. So explain it with examples. Use the structure diagrams just like I did. It's totally up to you. Any confusion regarding this? Yes, Samreen.
No.
Okay. Next comes task 3. I also describe task 3 to you in detail. So the MD, as the change manager, you are aware that change may be driven by external factors which are dynamic in nature. In this section of the report, you need to describe the external environment that organizations operate in. The MD is keen that the new structure should support the ethical and social principles of the organization. Therefore, you must carry out an analysis of the impact of the environment on the need for organizations to deliver these principles. I have made slides on it. I'll explain you with the help of the slides. These are the slides of task 3. So
Yes.
we talk about the external environment in which the organizations operate. Every organization needs to fit and adapt the new things which forces the external environment. Basically, organizations are in the form of groups. People who are working there, they have the aim for earning the profit. Their goal is to earn the profit. They plan different things about it. Different organizations operate in different external environments in which they are organized, whether we talk about the internal or external demands or different opportunities. There are different types of organizations. There are non-profit organizations, there are public, private, voluntary. Voluntary organizations are those organizations which hire people as voluntary basis. They don't give salary to the people who are working as volunteers. They just take or hire the people and give them the work. The people work for them as volunteer, but they didn't give them the salary. The volunteers are not working on the salary. They are just working free of cost. So the external environment is the big picture of every organization. It is basically referred to as journal environment. Different things are in the flow in order to maintain it. I explain it again with the diagram here. First one is the organization. We talk about the organization. There are three things or four things. First one is social culture, socio-culture forces. It contains demographic trends, your lifestyle changes, your availability skills. Demographic trends. Then how your lifestyle changes, what you have skills in yourselves, what you do for your company. Then natural disasters. Natural disasters are those that are unpredictable. We never know what happened next. Just like flood. Flood is unpredictable thing. We never know when flood comes. Storms. Storms are unpredictable things. We never know when they come. Pollution. Your health. When we get sick, we never know. No one will predict about their health. Your food we are having, The food we are eating and the food we are having, the food sometimes is not good for us. We use junk food daily. We love to eat junk food on daily basis. That food will disturb our health and stress. We never know when we are stressed out, in what kind of situation we are stressed out. For example, if you didn't get the good marks in test, you will stressed out. If your exam is not going well, you are stressed out. If you have to prepare the test, if you have an examination and you have to prepare the examination, you are stressed out. So the organization is linked up with the natural disasters. When coronavirus comes, no one know that coronavirus comes. When earthquake come, you never know when earthquake comes. So these natural disasters will affect the organization. People are not working properly when the natural disasters are going to be happen. No one know about that. If you are working in the office and suddenly the earthquake comes, you just have to sit there and you have to do the work. Don't panic. This also disturbs the organizations. Volcanoes. Volcanoes are also the reason for the earthquakes. Hurricanes, storms are also the reason for the earthquakes. When there is a cyclone in the river, it also affects the organizational performance. When cyclone comes, it destroys everything. In India, the city name is Gujarat. It destroys everything there. So when people start seeing these things, they will stressed out. These are all things linked up with the organization. Then we talk about the political forces, the government and the political forces. First one is government legislation, the government law. The government legislation is also linked up with the organization. Whether it is semi-government organization, it is the government organization, or it is the private institute. Everyone has to follow the government legislation. Everyone has to follow the government rules. If you don't follow the rule, of course, it is a big hurdle for you. It creates a big hurdle for you. Just like taxes. When the organization pay the taxes, it disturbs the budget. If the organization is not paying the taxes, it also disturbs the organization. Then internal law. The people, the law that is operating internally your country. What is the price of petrol? What is the price of vegetables and fruits? How do they control the prices of fruits and vegetables so that every people will assess them? Wars. Wars also destroys the organization. It also leaves a negative impact on the organization because the organization is your source of income. You are working there, the organization is paying you salary for this, you are giving them the services, and for that services the organization is going to pay you. So when the, god forbid, when war times come, it destroys everything. You are not able to work properly in that situation. In 1857, after the death of Mangal Pandey, he was the freedom fighter there. People destroys everything after his death. He hanged till death. So when they hanged Mangal Pandey, that he was the freedom fighter at that time, the organizations who are working there, they are not able to work properly because the people who are in the favor of Mangal Pandey, they start destroying the things. They destroyed the whole country. So it affects the organization because it is directly linked up with the government. If government will take care of it, the organization who are working in the country will not disturb. And we talk about economic factors, globalization. In Spain, Italy, Japan, these are the countries who are faced the globalization everywhere. The globalization helps the country to being stable. The economic factors also affects the organization. Whether if the effect is positive, the organization will start earning the profit. If the effect is negative, the organization will go into loss. And it is up to the workers, it is up to the employees who are working in the organization, how they are going to manage all the things. If they are capable enough, if they have the skills in them to control all these things, then the organization, you may say, will earn the profit. There are, then we talk about the competitors and supply chain. Competitors are the enemy for the organization. Competitors are those people who will affect the profit of the organizations. If your competitor will going to launch a new product and the product is made with natural things, they use natural things in the product. Just like, for example, I am going to give the example of, say for instance, whitening cream. They said they are using aloe vera gel in it. They said they use turmeric in it. They said they use vitamin E oil in it. They said they use tomato juice in it. They said they use saffron in it. So when the people are going to try the things from them, they are going to purchase the things from them. If their complexion will get fairer by using the product and the product is in reasonable price, so it will affect the organization. And supply chain, we have already discussed supply chain in the operations management too. Supply chain basically includes all the raw materials and the parts that are made into the product and distributed up the chain for manufacturing and resale. Supply chain deals with the raw material. If you are going to manufacture the dress, it deals with the raw material of the dresses. If you are manufacturing, if you are exporting manufacturing the bags, the supply chain will deal in the raw material of bags. If you are expert in purchase in manufacturing the shoes, leather shoes, the supply chain will include the raw materials for that things. So the competitors and the supply chain are basically the things that are responsible for the loss and profit for the organizations. Then currency exchange rates. Currency exchange rates also affect the organization. The exchange rates basically is the price of one currency in terms of another currency. Or you may say that in simple words that a currency exchange rate is a licensed. The exchange rates can be changed, fixed, or either floats, like the rate of the dollar. The dollar rate is not now fixed, it changes. The dollar is up to 272 or 273. Now the dollar is, say for instance, the dollar price is now 263 or 264 or 254. So this is the currency. This is the price of one currency that is used in the terms of another currency. We use rupees in Pakistan, but when dollar increases, it devalues our currency. Our currency devalued with that. When the dollar price start falling, it increases the value of our currency. The business in the stock market will start booming. The business will go into the peak. This also affects the organization. I am going to give you the example of US dollar. The exchange rate between the US dollar and the Japanese yen. Japan uses the currency named yen. The price of the Japanese yen is 120 per dollar. $1 US can be exchanged for 120 yen in foreign currency markets. Dollar is exchanged with yen. That is why I say to you that the currency exchange rates is the price of a country's currency in terms of another currency. But if we talk about Pakistan, earlier as I say that we are using the currency in PKR rupees. The dollar will not exchange the Pakistani rupees. The dollar is not replaced with Pakistani rupees. The dollar will be replaced by another different currency. So these are linked up with the organizations. These four are linked up with the organization. Any confusion regarding this?
No.
Here I explain these things with the help of, I explain in detail, just like globalization. Globalization basically is the external force that shape the environment. It contains different things. It contains the capital flows. It contains the cheaper foreign labor markets. It contains the globalization underlie the forces of journal international economic environment. In journal, different countries gained globalization. Like I give you the example of China, I give you the example of Japan, I give you the example of Korea, Malaysia. So the globalization helps the companies to grow economically. In 2018, the United States, China debt to the United States. They owns $1.168 trillion to the United States. Then Japan, $1.07 trillion. It increases the inflation rate, which affect the economy of the business. Here I use the example of US. I take an example of US. It's up to you whether which country's example you are going to quote here. Whether you are going to quote the example of Taiwan, you are going to quote the example of Finland, you are going to quote the example of Denmark, you are going to quote the example of Switzerland, Singapore. It's totally up to you. It's your choice. But you have to give the example in the task. So when your country is not stable, the inflation rate start increases. It affects the organization. The inflation affects the organization. The employees who are working there, they are demanding to increase their salary because they said that the inflation rate started inflation rate increasing. When inflation rate started increases, all prices are going to increase. The oil price increase, the petrol price increase. This affects the organization. Okay, I am going to give you 10 to 15 minutes. First of all, look at this diagram as I explained you in detail related to this. Take 15 to 20 minutes. First, think about it and then start giving me the answer one by one. What is socio-culture force? What are natural disasters? Economic factors, political forces, how it affects the organization.
Okay. Okay. So, Okay, so social cultural factors, uh these uh are the factors that involve that involve demographic trends, lifestyle changes of the population, which affects the which affects the company's demands. Second is the natural disasters. You know, like uh, these are unpredictable, like the weather, health, food, uh, health, food, stress, and the storms. So so bad natural disasters can impact badly on the companies. Then there is economic factors, which is the which is the
Globalization.
which is the currency. Yes, globalization, currency, exchange rate, competitors, uh, and then supply chain, which uh, which all affect the external environment of the company. And then there is political factors, s- uh, such as uh, such as government legislation, taxation. So for example, um, increased taxes will uh, reduce a company's will reduce a company's profitability.
My next question from you is that what do you think about globalization? I'm giving you 10 to 15 minutes. First, think on it. Slides are in front of you. Then give me the answer so that we complete this and move back to the assignment slides.
Okay. So um, globalization uh, is when companies involve in is when companies involve in trade with the other companies outside of their country. Uh, this gives the this gives companies the chance to grow and operate globally. Some companies benefit from it, and some do not. Um, for example, like China's China's economy is having more benefits of globalization, but any instability uh, could result in increasing inflation and interest rates.
Yes, very good. So now come towards the economic forces that as I have explained you in detail, but through the explanation you are easily able to understand all the points. Economic forces. As I told you that economic forces basically is a big challenge for the organizations and for the whole world too, because the economic forces will break the organization's structure if all these factors, if all these things, globalization, competitors and supply chain and currency rates, it affects the organization. So these economic factors basically make the organization strong. But as I have give you the example of stock market, that stock market start increasing its business day by day. When Pakistan take debt from or borrow loan from the IMF, from the day one the stock market will start improving the business. So the stock market set the new record if your economic force is strong. But if your economic force is not strong, it starts going into loss. It give you different shocks. Like if you invest money in it, for example, if I invest, say for instance, 30 lakhs in stock market, and the next day the shares go down and my all money will drown in this. So globalization overall has a positive impact on the world's economy and on the organization too. Yes, it also has the dark side. But two-thirds of all the people who are working in the organization or all the households in 2025 they have the advanced economy. In 2025 they have the advanced economy, and when the economy is advanced, it helps the countries for started growing. Your income will stable there. But between 2005 and 2014, the globalization, the economic force is not stable. Moreover, the UK and the US, they said that the wages started falling. Wages means the income, the salary they are going to pay to the employees who are working there. They said that they witnessed that the wages started falling, the salary started falling. They start cutting off the salaries of the employees. So the wealth distribution in these countries continues to decline, because when wealth distributes, it disturbs the economy. Wealth distributes in different categories. Wealth distributes in the form of taxes. Wealth distribute in the form of the journal sale tax. When we buy the things from the grocery store, for example, I purchase a soap. The soap also has the sale tax on it. And the sale tax is not for just 1 or 2 rupees. The sale tax is 30, 40. This is the sale tax. The taxes, whether it is the income tax, whether it is the property tax, it destroys the economy, because the people who are rich, they are getting richer more and more, and the people who are poor, they are getting more poor and poor, because wealth which is distributed is not distributed properly. Then natural disaster, as I told you that natural disaster are the unpredicted events. We never know what comes next. You never know when earthquake comes. You never know when flood comes. You never know when cyclone or hurricane comes. You never know about it. When there are lot of rain, it when the water fills in the seas, it changes in the flood. It takes the shape of the flood. Food crisis arises when the flood comes. Like in Balochistan, when flood comes in Balochistan, it destroys everything. It destroys their animals. It destroys their houses. It even human beings are also affected by this. The people who are very rich at that time, with when the flood comes, it destroys all the things. The people are now under the roof of sky. They are sitting under the roof of the sky. They have no house to live there. Flood also comes in the United States. They predict that the sea level could reach 3 feet worldwide by 2300 or sooner. It is the measurement they measure regarding the flood. Many new companies that are working in the United States, they already started constructing the buildings for this, so that they will able to stop the flood water, and it helps them to raise the water level. So the natural disaster also affects the company's health and wealth both. Because when your company is working well, when your company is earning the profit, it remains strong. But with the help of the but when the disaster comes, it destroys everything. You never know what comes next. So it affects the profit of the organization. Any questions regarding this?
No questions.
Okay. I'm giving you 10 minutes. First think on it and then give me the answer so that we move forward to the next slide. I'm going to wind up this lecture and go back to the assignment slides and I'm going to explain you next task.
Economic factors can break the organization's structure. Stock markets can improve a business and uh, and set new record if the economic forces are strong. It um, it also has some downsides like the UK and the US um, um, have seen reduced wages and income stagnation. And then there is natural disasters, and like these um, these are the disasters like like hurricane and man-made things like the food
Floods.
crisis,
Floods are basically not man-made.
floods.
Floods are natural. But yes, when
Yes,
we are not working properly on crops, then man-made crisis arises. Then food crisis arises. Be-
yes, the food crisis. Uh, companies in companies in companies in US are like constructing buildings you know uh, to like stop the
Floods.
predicted floods and the rising water levels.
Okay, now comes to the political forces. As I told you that the political forces or the government forces affect all the industries and the organizations. Some recent events that have shook the global economy, and there are long-term outcomes that are seen in the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union. The wars. So the policy basically is that the healthcare reform, your immigration things. Immigration means when you want to go to other country. For example, if I live in Japan and I want to move to other country, like I want to move to Finland or Denmark, this is known as immigration. It affects all these things because when the wars or something like things happens or taxes increases, internal law change, when there is a change in government legislations, it change all the things. It also disturbs the organizations. When all these things happens, it increase the uncertainty for the business. Yes, it creates opportunities for organizations and industries, but that opportunities will become unstable. It is not stable because all these things affect the organization. Then social forces. Social forces include different things like our beliefs, our values, our traditions, our habits, our lifestyles. What kind of habits we have, what kind of lifestyle we want to live, what kind of beliefs we have, just like supernatural power. Indians believe that yes, supernatural power exists, but as Muslims we said no, supernatural powers doesn't exist. But this is true that yes, supernatural powers exist. The people who are facing these things, they have a strong belief on them, like your religion, the politics, and social organizations. There are other aspects in this. Technology, the new generation, like the children, the people, the kid who is studying in standard 1 or standard 2, he also know how to operate the phone. He knows how to operate the phone. He knows technology better than us. These kind of things equip the social media. It affects the organization. But with this technology, you are able to learn different things. You are able to learn different online courses. You are able to learn different things, like you are able to learn digital marketing course. You are able to learn e-commerce course. You are able to learn about the accounting softwares like QuickBooks, like Peachtree. So the social cultural trends, it relates with the social culture forces, it relates with the social cultural trends, it leaves the positive impact on the organizational culture. And also the other, in the other dimensions, it involves to increase the caliber of the human beings, and they are able to do the new things, they are able to do work better than before with this. Any question regarding this?
No.
Okay, I'm giving you 10 minutes. First think on it and then give me the answer so that we move back to the assignment slides.
The political factors, like uh, these can be these can be wars and policies that disrupt free trade with other countries. This uh, this create creates un this creates uncertainty, and for some it is an opportunity, uh, and some it is instability.
Instability, and create instability for others.
Yes. Then there are social cultural factors. Um, these these are the lifestyles and the beliefs of the population in the country. Other things include um, religion, education, and technology. Companies companies should companies should companies should know these factors to to you know to learn from them and work better than before.
Very good. Now, do you have any confusion?
No, I don't.
Do the task 1, task 2, and task 3. As I have explained you in detail, start working on this assignment. I'll share these slides with Ma'am Kinza too. I also sent these slides in the group. You may take help from the slides where you think that you have, or that you are facing any difficulty, or you have some problem in doing the task. You take help from the slides. Use structural diagrams, use proper examples in the diagrams. Your headings should be bold, your assignment should be properly formatted. Use references at the end of the assignment, maximum 6 to 7 references. First 3 tasks are completed in this lecture. The next 2 tasks, inshallah, are going to be complete in the next lecture. Then your
Okay.
syllabus and your assignment will complete. Yes, do you want to ask something?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care, stay blessed, and start doing work on the assignment. Bye bye, take care, Allah Hafiz, and stay blessed.
Okay. Love this.
Stay blessed, bye bye.